Welcome to the WDW News Today Podcast. My name is Eric Morton. With me is special guest.
And I'm Nicholas Cicero, alongside Eric Morton, my special guest.
Are you ever not the special guest? How many times are you on before we're just like, Nick is the other host of the show?
Well, see, what happens is if you call me the other host of the show, that adds like an air of responsibility onto things, and then I might actually have to be more responsible and like show up more and commit to more. So I'm cool being special guest.
Just permanent special guest.
Yeah. Look, a long time ago, everybody's like, Nick, you should take over as host of WDW News Tonight. Like everybody's, even Tom was like, Nick, you want to host News Tonight? And I was like, no, Tom, I am good being the co-host just in case, I don't want that commitment of being the host,
I get it. I'm with you.
So I politely declined and said, I will stay in my sidekick role and not plan anything, not commit to anything, show up when I want to. And yeah, there we go. That's what you get.
It's a lot of pressure. We've been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now. We missed a week because 4th of July was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
And then last week I was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are trying to catch up. I was in beautiful Pittsburgh. It was lovely.
Really?
Actually, my first time there, I think I had a great time. Fun town. It was a lot less grimy than I thought it was going to be. I thought like, Rust Belt City, I know it. No, it's really pretty. It was nice, great food, great people. Had a great time. I want to go back. I want to go to a Pirates game there. The stadium looks awesome.
The stadium looks awesome. So last time I was in Pittsburgh was in 1994. I went to the baseball all-star game. I actually went to the game, and it was fantastic.
That was the old stadium, right?
Yeah. But that was definitely the old stadium, Three Rivers. But I haven't been as a adult, so I don't know. That's great. That Pittsburgh is fantastic.
We were there for a wedding, and they had a rehearsal dinner, and it was in this 15, 20 story tall building, and it's across the river from like downtown Pittsburgh, across one of the rivers, downtown Pittsburgh, on top of this really high, like they call a mountain. Mount Washington, and we're up there on the top floor of this building, floor to ceiling windows, looking down on it. It was gorgeous.
Nice.
Great food, great. Like I said, it was great. But I was a little sad that I was missing the podcast. I missed you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And of course, Tom. We only have a short amount of time before Tom comes back after D23. So I think around August 12th he'll be back.
Yeah.
And then we will all fight for who's on this podcast moving forward.
Oh, I will fight. So even though I said I don't want the responsibility, I will put up a fight. I want this, I want the opportunity. So
good. It's a lot of work. I mean, we're 40 some episodes in, so we're nearing 1 year of this podcast already.
Yeah.
And we've missed 3 weeks. I feel bad about that. We've missed 3 weeks, but we have missed 3 weeks along the way. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Is it a situation where like 3 is a crowd? Is that
no, we can make that happen. Obviously we're working on our podcast studio. I hope to have it done by now. It's not the soundproofing is on the walls in there now, so that's one step. We had to order some like things to hang lights and oh boy, it's just every little thing turns into a big thing, right?
Yeah.
You ever do that? You can't get anything done because you always have to do some little other thing first. That's like my life.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with that. You may notice I am wearing, again, our Tip Top Club shirt. There's a reason for it, though, Nick, because even though we are filming on a Saturday, and this will air on Tuesday, next week will be the 30th anniversary of the Tower of Terror.
Wow. Time flies.
Time flies. And in honor of this, we are going to put these shirts on sale briefly for 1 week only.
At $30 off.
No, but a really good chunk of change off.
All right, cool.
It'll be a very good price.
Nice.
And those will go on sale, and you can go to wdwnt.shop for details. But we'll have a discount by the time this podcast airs. So I'm looking forward to that. And there's so much other stuff coming up. August 4th, nobody knows this yet except the very select group of people who watch Boxed In, which is a very small number of people. On the 4th, we're having an auction. Apparently, I'm hosting it. I'm like the gavel. I don't know anything about it. I believe what's happening is Tom has like just stuff that's in everyone's way, and Jason's like, we're auctioning it off before he gets back.
Wow.
And then if he can't figure out what he's missing, then he didn't need it. That's kind of the premise, I think, of the auction.
I love this. We also need a Tom reaction video when he returns.
We need the video of him in Japan, watching all of his possessions get auctioned off. I think it'd be funny. He is, by the way, I've been exchanging text messages with him. He was in Shanghai for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Now he's in Hong Kong. Then he'll go back to Japan. Then he'll be at Disneyland for D23. And then he'll be at Disney World like the next day. So he's just bang, 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 knocking out. And we know he's been to Paris like 3 times in the last year. So
yeah. I was jealous they went to the Tokyo Dome, caught a baseball game in Japan. That was cool.
I heard he may be going again. Because I'm not sure it's at the Tokyo Dome, but there's someone in the WDWNT audience that is a referee for WWE. Oh. And who does a better job than referees in the WWE? They never miss.
Sure.
They never get distracted.
Yeah.
They always apply the rules equally. And I think he's invited Tom to maybe, I don't know. I think Tom may be going to some sort of wrestling experience in Tokyo. I don't know if it's Tokyo Dome. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Tom is a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Like a big wrestling fan. I found out when I got into this community sort of that there's a big crossover between people who love Disney and people who love professional wrestling.
It's weird, right?
Like, I think it's a storytelling. I think there's a storytelling element. People like this sort of fantasy and storytelling. Who knows what it is, but I think there's something there. Mm-hmm. But multiple times I've been on flights with Tom that were packed full of WWE superstars. If not superstars, WWE personalities.
No way.
So we were flying back from LA. Tom and I went out there for food and wine at DCA a few months ago. And we're at LAX, and it's really late at night, right? We have like a red eye. We're leaving at like 11:30 or something like that. And I turn around, and the largest person I've ever seen in my life is standing right next to me. He's gigantic. Like indescribably big. And then I look, and there's some other guys who you could tell from their hairstyle, like they must be professional wrestlers or something, because you don't walk around in normal society like this.
Right.
They were like, so he's like, oh, these guys are some tag team. They're British. The New Catch Republic or something. I think that's what they're called. But the guy was named like Omos or something. They called him the Nigerian Giant. And I looked on Wikipedia. It says he's like, it said he was like 7'3" and 450 pounds. I mean, he's just gigantic.
Yeah.
And then it went from me being in awe of how big this guy was to going, man, I hope they give him a first class seat. Not just for his comfort, but for like the comfort of anyone that would, like, because you could see he needed his own like giant seat. He was a very large dude.
Yeah.
Somehow we got off on wrestling.
That's amazing.
we always get sidetracked. That's part of the deal around here. There is a lot going on. I haven't really been in the mix too much. I did a thing for National Dole Whip Day.
What'd you do?
Nana and I did a Dole Whip dash. Like Disney Media had this event for us to basically you get an app and it's kind of like a scavenger hunt, and we ran ourselves ragged, going to every location on property that sells Dole Whips.
Wow. Okay.
So you figure you start at Polynesian and you go right there to like Pineapple Lanai, right? Mm-hmm. Then went to Magic Kingdom. There are at least 3 places that have Dole Whips there, right? There's Sunshine Tree Terrace.
Right.
There's Aloha Isle.
Yeah. And then the Nook.
Storybook Tree, whatever.
Tree.
Back there in Fantasyland. Then we go to Contempo Cafe. They have a Dole Whip cupcake.
Oh, okay.
Then we took the monorail to Epcot, and we had to do different things besides Dole Whips on the way. Right, somewhere take a selfie of your team in front of here or answer a trivia question. Then we went to Refreshment Outpost, which is in Africa in Epcot, which is all the way back there. Mm-hmm. Then walk all the way back to the monorail.
So there's just one at Epcot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think we went back to Magic Kingdom. We drove then. I had to go take Poppy I had to stop at my house and let Poppy out. Because at this point, like, we've been going out
like
for a pretty
5-6 hours,
time,
right? Like probably.
Then we go to Animal Kingdom. And there's something at Trilobites.
Okay.
The Zazu float. There's something else at Tamu Tamu.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a Dole Whip in every park? Is there Animal Kingdom?
No, the Animal Kingdom, but not. I don't think there's one at Hollywood Studios. There wasn't one on our scavenger hunt. And then from there, we went to Disney Springs to Swirls on the Water.
Right.
And got the Dole Whip like trio, which melted instantly. Like
Well,
that's
by
when
then
they
it
call
was like,
your
what,
name and they
2
hand it to
p.m.?
you,
Yeah.
and you look at it. You're like, let me take a picture, and you go, oh, it's all liquid. Anyway, that's a full day. It's a full day of the Dole Whip stuff. But happy Dole Whip day to those who
every
celebrate.
Dole Whip?
I didn't eat everything. I took one bite.
That's a lot.
We were not always required to eat a Dole Whip. They did give us, Disney gave us like a gift card to help pay for these things. So we got several just because the scavenger hunt may say take a picture of your Dole Whip in front of the Orange Bird mural or whatever. But it was a good time. We had fun, but it was tired. I mean, that's a full day.
Yeah.
I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for us for like spending all day eating free Dole Whips running around Disney property. But when it's 95 degrees out, you're ready for the day you're ready to get back to your car and get back to your home. So, yeah, so we've had that going on. Other than that, what we have Country Bear Musical Jamboree opened on the 17th. I just went and saw it again for my second time. So today I did I did all the 2 new things, right? I did Tiana's Bayou Adventure and we did Country Bear Musical Jamboree, and I have to say, kind of like it.
Yeah, good.
I kind of like it. It's imperfect, but much better than expected and pretty good.
Wait, the Bears or Tiana?
I think both. I think both.
You
In
describe
fact,
them both the same way.
right. I was talking about Country Bear Musical Jamboree.
Okay.
But I think Tiana's Bayou Adventure is the same thing, right? There was a stage I went through, right, that I had to get through, which was like stupid Tiana kicking out, Splash Mountain, this fake ass Splash Mountain. I don't want to. And then I went on it, and by then it had been a couple years, and I kind of got it out of my system, and I wrote it, and I was like, oh, it's actually like better than I thought it was going to be. It's still not as good. I wrote it again, and I thought like, this is actually kind of good. I wrote it again. I thought like, oh yeah, it's like, I would say that I think when we did the review, Tom was like, it's great. It's as good as Splash Mountain. And I was like, it's as good as Splash Mountain was at the end when Splash Mountain was like, everything was broken on Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
But now after today, I think like,
I
think the animal band is super cute. I think it's cuter than a lot of the Brer animals, right? I think the animal band does it for me. I think, and everything worked today except one thing.
Okay.
Which is the water going over you in the old laughing place.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Everything else worked. And we had everyone had a great time. And I think it's
It's good. That's good.
And Country Bear Musical Jamboree, same thing, right? I wanted to hate it. There are things that I think are imperfect about it. There are choices that I would have maybe not made. But I think overall, given what the mission they were given, which was put Disney music into, these characters, I think they did a good job, and they preserved the characters. And I love, love, love that Melvin, Buff, and Max are way more involved. They're singing harmonies. They're telling a lot more jokes. They're like in the show the whole time. There are some moments that everyone waited for, like Big Al doesn't sing Blood on the Saddle anymore. He sings Remember Me. Some people hate that. I kind of liked it. I liked it, and then I was like, oh, that's the choice that clearly makes sense.
What song would you give him?
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of like, bow.
No, there isn't, right?
Bow. But I mean, I'm sure that if you gave me time, I could come up with something good.
Yeah.
But no, all in all, I think like, look, that wasn't the original Country Bear Jamboree show anyway that we had, right? Things changed, and you just have to sometimes go, all right, it changed. It took something that was declining a little bit in popularity. I think the last few years when I went to Country Bear Jamboree, you could get a pretty good seat.
Sure.
And now it's kind of full again, and people are happy to see it. And I think they did a reasonable job, despite some, I don't know.
I think you have to revitalize stuff like that every now and then. I can't wait to see it in person. I've seen videos, but haven't been there in person yet. I'm excited. I like when they change things up like that. And it looks like they did a good job. It really does.
Animatronics are great.
Yeah.
The sound is better.
Yeah.
I don't hear the clicking from Melvin, Buff, and Max anymore.
Good.
Which I kind of miss that.
Do you really?
No. I mean, it's a quirk that was like uniquely Country Bear Jamboree that's now gone.
Well, and I always get the the flowers in
Tiki Room.
Tiki Room. Yeah, those really click.
And there's like kind of totem pole character. There's a lot of clicking.
See, those I don't mind clicking because those are solid creatures. Like I don't know, it's weird when the flowers click, but I get that. I'm excited to see it. It's good to hear that people are seemingly liking it. Like I see generally positive.
Yeah. Did you see new seating at Carousel of Progress?
I did.
It looks good.
That's exciting too.
It looks good. I'll miss those cushy, comfy, kind of probably gross seats.
Totally gross.
But the new ones look pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think they kind of help put you in the spirit of this thing. I think people are very negative about Disney and changes they've made in the last several years. Deservedly so. They've had some swings and misses, right? But like some of them were we get a little on our high horse and don't remember the shortcomings of the things that it replaced. Mm-hmm. The center of Epcot. What was the center of Epcot before? It was a pin store and like some weird metal shade structure.
Shade structure, yeah.
And like nothing else.
The triangles,
right?
yeah.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing like moving about the Communicore structure.
No.
Right? So while I liked Electric Umbrella, Connections undeniably has better food than Electric Umbrella had. I don't like the airport terminal vibe of it, right? But it's an improvement. Same with Mouse Gear. It's like I don't love Creation Shop, but I get it. Like time marches on without me, and I don't get lost in there. I don't get separated from my party as easily there as I used to in Mouse Gear. Other side, Communicore Hall, plain and boring. But the old Communicore structure was kind of boring too.
They could have done a better job with some of these things, but look at what they replaced, right? Because it's mostly nostalgia keeping you from necessarily liking it. And then, look, you may not, again, I'm not saying what they replaced it with is thematically great. Or like it's beautiful or a nice atmosphere, because it's not. Like Mouse Scare had its charm, but you're right, it was a confusing store. It was all over the place. Again, like you said, Electric Umbrella had its charm, but Connections is a better food stop. It's not as cool of an atmosphere. Look, we were talking. I forget now because we've been going so long what made it onto the recording and didn't. But we talked before we started recording about different atmospheres at different lounges like that. And we like Geyser Point, great atmosphere.
Weird operations. The food is whatever, the drinks or whatever, but so it's hard to nail both. It really is. Yeah. And they went with kind of function over form maybe a little bit here. Well, Connections, I think they went with what is going on in the world around us, which is high-end restaurants even are big, open, loud boxes, right? Where you go into a place. And gone are the things I like, which is the quiet, intimate, high-back leather booth, where you can have a nice conversation at a low volume. Yeah. And in are these big, loud, echoey places with a lot of loud music. And that's not for me because I had some hearing loss back from military days. And I get really increasingly stressed out in environments that are very loud like that.
Yeah.
I like it. Celebration Brewing Company down the street, what they did, though, they have this big box, kind of like our warehouse that we're in, our studio that we're in, basically, but they soundproof the ceiling. So you go in there, and it's kind of like, it's weird. It almost feels like there's white noise. It's just, no, they've dampened the sound.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's great. I like that. So I think of all the changes, if we go back the last few years at Disney World, their major changes are, Tron. They added Tron. They got rid of Splash Mountain, redid Country Bear Jamboree. They brought in Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, which is They added Cosmic Rewind, which I can get behind, even though it kind of disrupts the disrupts the theme of Epcot. It's still a really fun ride.
So fun. I like it more and more. By the way, I was on that on the 4th of July, and I'm like, man, this ride is just so good. It's so fun. The only thing that keeps me from I know what it could have been, and that sucks. Yeah. But you it's still, I adore that ride. I think they have done some great things. I think that's the thing. You have to kind of put aside a little bit about what your, what the feelings have been over the past few years and try to judge each new project on its own merit. I mean, we could take a look back in hindsight and look at larger periods of time. And
Yeah.
I really do think at some point down the road, we will be able to look back on this time with a little bit more praise than it's getting at the moment. I think I think when we get a longer view of this timeline, we're going to see we're going to probably have this few years where we call this kind of merging over from, the dark years to more lighter years. It doesn't necessarily happen like a light switch, right? Like, so you're not going to love everything right away, but if you see incremental steps towards the right direction, which I think this is, I think that needs to be applauded at the moment, and let's judge it. Time will judge it. We'll see. We'll go 10, 20 years from now. We'll look back and we'll see if this was a step in the right direction or if this was just a little blip, But I'd like to think that they're headed back in the right direction.
There are two things that you can compare that both shut down on the same day and were replaced. That's the Great Movie Ride and Universe of Energy.
Right.
Were shut down on the same day.
Yeah.
So Universe of Energy was replaced by Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which I think is a very popular ride. People really like it. I really like it. I realize there is a certain disconnect in the theming of what Epcot is and was supposed to be and what this kind of tried to imitate, which was it tried to sort of introduce itself as an Epcot pavilion for Xandar. Weird, right? I mean, I get it. They had to make some sort of connection. And then you have Runaway Railway replacing the Great Movie Ride. Both Universe of Energy and Great Movie Ride were flawed attractions, right? They had things wrong with them that could have either been updated. I just feel like Runaway Railway is not better than a Great Movie Ride, where I feel like Cosmic Rewind is better than Universe of Energy was. Is that fair?
That's fair. I mean, I can't. I'm not going to sit here and definitively say that Universe of Energy is better than Cosmic Rewind or the other way around, because they're such different rides. I mean, Universe of Energy, in its various iterations, had its place in time, and it's just time to use that space for something different. Now, is this the right thing for that space? You can argue that, but there's no doubt in my mind that Guardians of the Galaxy is a great ride.
Yeah. And
so there's different pieces of the argument when you're talking about a theme park like Disney, because you'll come in and say, you could genuinely have that argument. Is it the right thing for that space? Regardless of the outcome of that argument, it's what's there. So you have to kind of then say, okay, am I going to accept this as a quality ride that people like? And universally it is. I mean, everyone I talk to is just in love with this ride the second they ride it. Unless, of course, you have motion sickness issues.
Right, there are people that...
Yeah. But
the last time I rode it was kind of like, we were in the last row. I was with Tom. We were in the last row, and I was like, when we got off, I was like, man, that kind of got me a little. Like, I got I wasn't feeling sick, but I was like, that got me a little bit. That whip, the whip cracks a little harder in that back row. And he looks at me, he's like, you know what? Me too. I
mean, now, if we did the Man vs. Park Drinking Around the World Challenge, we would have rode Cosmic Rewind instead of Mission Space, right? Because
bring Jason with us.
Yeah, we totally would have done that. But that's what I mean. I think it's a sliding scale, because we also know how budget cut that ride was, right?
Yeah.
Because we know what it could have been. And so we know that this is going to be this transitional area or timeline where we see things like Guardians of the Galaxy. They kind of stumbled into a good ride. Even though they budget cut it, it's still a great ride. But then I think something like Tiana, you see the money put in. I even think with Country Bears, it seems like money was put in, right? Money and thought and care. So there's that transition where I think we're going to see that when we look back on this time.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said too for the original Future World attractions, right? Obviously, I'm a Horizons guy. Wonders of Life, there's nothing there now. It's just kind of an empty building. A lot of these rides that were replaced were basically, Universe of Energy wasn't as integrated to the theme of energy as something like the Seas, where you actually go through an aquarium with active animal, with fish and sharks swimming all around you, or Living with the Land, where you're going through like an operational, biome.
Right.
Right. And so those things, I think, are the things that connect with people more, even though, look, World of Motion was great. Horizons was great. Universe of Energy was great. All these things. I think those are the ones that, like, if they change them, if they change them too much, people are going to go crazy. In particular, the land. I think Living with the Land has more of the soul of Epcot than any of the other attractions. Right? Imagination's sort of watered down. They crammed a bunch of IP into the Living Seas with Nemo and Friends. Spaceship Earth. This is the worst iteration of Spaceship Earth that I've seen in my lifetime. And then you have the whole east side of the park, which is all new stuff.
I mean, the strongest connection, you're right, the connective tissue is really Living with the Land, and that seems pretty sad because I've never thought about that. But you're right, that is that connective tissue, and I think that, we already. I mean, look, the battle was lost a long time ago. We lost all those original attractions. That's not happening again. But they could redeem themselves. I mean, they could redeem us, redeem everything with a new, Figment Dreamfinder ride, right? They could come in there and do spectacular things with like that. And I think that's the area that we have to focus on. I think if they give us that, if Test Track reopens and maybe it has some homage back to World of Motion, it's supposed to, right?
It will. Yeah.
So I think they're thinking of these things, and there's going to be a nice balance. So as much as you can kind of gripe over does Cosmic Rewind fit there, I think there's enough that they're showing us that, look, no, we're moving in this direction. Stay with us. We're actually listening to, we're actually putting thought, we're actually putting money into these things. And I think I don't know. I'm an optimist here. I think we're now headed back in the right direction. It's funny, like you mentioned about Runaway Railway replacing Great Movie Ride and not being as good of a ride. I think that is very valid, but I think again that was kind of one of the end points of that period, and we're transitioning into something else.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who love Disney, but they're not in it every day. They're not in the fandom. Yeah. Who love Runaway Railway.
Same. Well, my friends' kids adore that attraction. Yeah. They have to go on it every time we're at studios. Okay, so it's not an attraction that people don't like. It's just, it's just, I equate it, I know people probably don't love sports analogies, but it's like having that great, like, quarterback or that great player that is a legend on your team forever, and then the next guy is never going to live up to that, right?
Right.
And it's really hard because you're entrenched in that what was before,
even though
you've had for a long period of time. Even
though Tom Brady's skills diminished, like, it's still hard to replace him. Right. Right?
Yeah. I don't think they diminished.
But they, to an extent, but especially his last year.
He led the league in passing.
Chose not to practice and go to training camp and all that. But
okay.
I know you love Tom Brady. I'm just saying he's a hard person to replace, even years down the road, right? So sure. Even, me as a Chiefs fan, when Patrick Mahomes turns 40 and he's not the same player he used to be, it's still hard to step into his shoes and replace him, even though everyone can agree, like, it was about almost time. Yeah. Right? That's how we were with the Great Movie Ride. Yeah. I feel like the Great Movie Ride, every time I went on, I was like, clock's ticking on this one. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the last, I don't know, 8, 9 years of Disney parks, the biggest whiffs, I don't think Runaway Railway is the biggest whiff. I think Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is the biggest whiff. And it has one of the best, something that is one of the best attractions in the world. Mm-hmm. But somehow they missed. Somehow they screwed it up. I feel like that. Like, in terms of the budget and the expectation, when they said that we're going to have a Star Wars land, people were like, everyone went crazy. Mm-hmm. And what they've created is something that, like, especially if I'm at Disneyland, but same thing at Hollywood Studios, you can totally bypass Galaxy's Edge and it doesn't diminish your day.
Sure.
It's almost like I don't really feel like dealing with that today. And so while I love Star Wars and I love Rise of the Resistance, I love the opportunity to fly the Millennium Falcon, there's something that's not connecting with people there. And I feel like that and Toy Story Land, like, kind of being right next to each other are kind of the two big whiffs. But out of the things really recent, though, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Country Bear Musical Jamboree, we'll go back to Tron and Cosmic Rewind and whatever. The biggest miss to me has been the Hatbox Ghost at the Magic Kingdom. I swear to you. That is the thing where every time I see it, I'm like, he's kind of like a highlight in California without overshadowing the ride. He's kind of like a moment that you like look forward to. Like, oh, we're going to, when they redid The Bride in Haunted Mansion, it was kind of crappy, right? Mm-hmm. They put this like projection kind of something that doesn't seem to fit the rest of the ride. But the Hatbox Ghost being at the very beginning and where he is, it's just so bad. And it feels so lazy. And it feels so much as like, there, we did it for you, like, can we guys shut up? Like, I would rather, this sounds awful, I would rather not have the Hatbox Ghost in Florida than to have a Hatbox Ghost in Florida that's not special. Okay. I would rather just go, I want to go to California to go on their Haunted Mansion because at least they have the Hatbox Ghost.
Is it just because he stands out there too much, doesn't belong
Everything
there?
about it is weird. He doesn't belong, right? There's the old it's a 3-act story. Mm-hmm. So the first act is like before the seance, right? Yep. Before the seance, there's no ghosts. Yep. Because Madame Leota hasn't summoned the ghosts. Yep. There's a guy trying to get out of a coffin, but there's no ghosts, right? Then there's the seance, like Act 2, and after Act 2, you get Act 3, which is all the ghosts, and you meet all the ghosts in the place. So to have him in Act 1, and to have their explanation be like, oh yeah, because the Hatbox Ghost goes wherever, whenever he wants to, is like a lazy explanation of it. And like, I'm not one of those I'm a mansion fan. The guest bedroom in our house is a Haunted Mansion guest room. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a person that's like, you got to stay hardcore to this story, because there's a million storylines to Haunted Mansion that have been developed over the years. There's what people consider canon, and there's other people that are like, no, Sally Slater doesn't count. There's all these people that will get way deep in the weeds on that Haunted Mansion stuff. But I think everyone agrees the Hatbox Ghost doesn't belong there. Yeah. And it's almost, I think it's the greatest symbol of the last several years of people not caring, just thinking that you'll take whatever they feed you.
Maybe they'll move them. Maybe one day they'll move them. Why not?
Yeah.
Could they move him to the graveyard?
Well, you know where he is at Disneyland.
Yeah.
As you come out of the attic.
But isn't there technical reasons?
We've heard a million excuses. There's been like, that's an evac route. There's been like, it's really hard to get electricity there. It's hard to get there to service. Who knows what the real reason is? I don't pretend to know. Somebody out there knows. You could DM me or something.
Same person taking the menu items off.
It's the menu guy, isn't it? But I feel like that more than anything else was like you'll just swallow whatever he give you. Mm-hmm. Like the other things, I think, even the things that fell short, I think they really tried. I think Galaxy's Edge, they tried too hard. They went way too deep in trying to create this new story that they forgot what connects people to Star Wars. But I think they put in a lot of effort. I think people cared and tried. I think like the Hatbox Ghost, they sat around and they're like, he fits here.
Now, I think what happened with Galaxy's Edge was they saved stuff for the hotel. Like, I think everything that was promised in the land went to the hotel.
A lot of it did.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think that took away because, look, people love the hotel. If you gave us that experience in Galaxy's Edge, I don't think people would have a problem.
Did you stay there?
No, I never did.
Are you and I the only people in the company that didn't stay there?
We are. Yeah.
We should start a club.
We should go stay there now.
I've been to the.
We should just go to Desi's house because I think Desi basically has recreated the Star Wars Hotel, the Star Cruiser.
She's First Order though. She's down with the First Order.
Yeah, she is.
I have bad news for her about things that happened to the First Order, but
Oh no!
I won't spoil it.
All right.
I've been to the Hyperspace Lounge on the Wish. Have you been there?
No.
Like,
Really? It misses?
it's a miss. It's cool. I like to sit there and see like ships flying by. Like, there's somebody in the Walt Disney Company whose job is creating windows to space.
Right.
So whether that's the Hangar Bay and Rise of the Resistance,
Space 220.
it's not really a window, I guess.
Yeah.
And Space 220, or that, or each room in the Star Cruiser.
Oh, yeah.
There's someone who that's what they specialized in, and now they're like out of work.
Out of work.
No, I think
Yeah, more space windows.
I think it looks really cool. I think they missed on the drinks. I think they missed on the vibe.
That's sad.
And I think I wrote an article. You can look for it on our website because no one read this article. It got launched on like a weekend and got buried. I felt like I did a pretty good I don't write for our website very often, but I did what I felt was a fairly thorough review of the Bayou, which is right outside there. And one of my criticisms is like, in the photos, the Bayou looks like it's this nice enclosed lounge, but in practice, it's kind of like you're in the middle of a hallway because there's people going down both sides like you're in the middle of a shopping mall, right?
Really?
So, and then right across from there is the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge. So you're sitting there trying to pretend you're in New Orleans having a hurricane and eating beignets or whatever, and you hear like, ksh, ksh, when they like open and close the door. Yeah, it just kind of ruins it. It just
Interesting.
It just kind of. I know that's really
Yeah.
really ticky-tacky, but it is. I don't know. I like, if I'm going to go someplace where you have a deep theme, I want like
Yeah.
the theme,
You want to
right?
be immersed.
I don't want like the shell of a theme. I want
That is weird. So you're not actually going into a enclosed location for that Bayou Lounge?
No.
Weird.
No. The Bayou Lounge is like, picture a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And in the middle,
And then the food court area
they build a
thing,
bar.
or you just
That's
say,
what
yeah.
it is. And you can
Yeah.
walk in there from either side.
Yep.
I mean, you look at photos, it's stunning.
Yeah.
It's stunning. But no, that was a big miss for me. That was like a thing that I was really looking forward to. And the hurricane they made was, I think I described it as murky in the story. It's just kind of like a orange, murky mess. It was a really bad hurricane. They were overwhelmed. Look, we were on an early voyage on a Wish. They were overwhelmed. They hadn't figured out, they hadn't gotten into their like Paces operation.
Yeah.
I would maybe go on a Wish and have a totally different opinion on a lot of things there. But yeah, I wrote reviews on the Bayou, Hook's Barbery. That was a fun review because I got a shave and a haircut and
I didn't see
and an
any of
old
that.
fashioned. All my favorite
We'll have
things.
to go look those up. Oh, you can have an old fashioned while you get a shave and stuff?
Well, no. So after 5, Hook's Barbery, it's a barber shop.
Yeah.
Right. If you've been on a Wish, you can tell us if you've been to Hook's Barbery. If you haven't been on a Wish, it's a barber shop, but it's this very sort of English style barber shop, as if Captain Hook opened a bar. I don't know why they decided Captain Hook opened a barber shop.
Right.
I speculate as to whether he got like Barbary Pirates and like Barbary the Profession confused, but they.
That's funny.
They have a sort of like group of closet doors that open at 5, and that's when the old-fashioned bar opens.
Oh, okay.
And a guy shows up there, so you're sitting in the waiting area for the barbershop, but the guy's taking your order for like a very high-end, like they have Pappy Van Winkle 23, they have like lower-end spirits as well, but like Blanton's was way cheaper than like Woodford, which I thought was weird. But they're like, oh, you pick your bourbon, then you pick your bitters. They have a million bitters. Then you pick like a
neat.
bourbon cologne, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah,
like,
a little
they have
spray,
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's expensive, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
And the Wish has a lot going for it in that respect. The Wish, like the overall design of the Wish is where they missed. Right? I think like some of the things in the Wish are awesome, but the cohesion of the Wish is kind of a mess.
Gotcha.
And I feel like if I went on it again, I might have a different opinion of it. And Lee wants to go on the Wish because her favorite character is Cinderella, and Cinderella is the statue in the grand atrium, right? So she'll want to do that. Even though I don't know why Cinderella is the main character, but it's Captain Minnie or something, and then
They always
then
do
Rapunzel
that, right?
is
Don't
painting
they?
the stern.
Yeah.
I just want when the Chinese cruise ship, is that the Adventure, the one that they bought from the Chinese company? I really want them to have Gelatoni on the back of the ship, painting it with his tail.
Oh, that'd be great.
Right? I think they never would.
No,
right?
but that'd be amazing.
American audience don't.
That'd be so perfect.
American audiences don't connect with
It should
Gelatoni
be.
at all. But I think they should. You have a cat that paints with his tail,
Right?
and you're in Asia
my
where they love
goodness.
where they love Duffy.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be Captain Duffy, right? Is it going to be a Captain Duffy
That'd
ship?
be amazing.
And
That'd be cool.
Gelatoni is on
No,
there.
that'd be cool if they had all
whole
the Duffy characters.
Duffy and friends.
Just have all the friends. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's not my thing, but
No.
I can see where people go crazy for that.
Shelley May, I think, is the chef. You could have
Cookie
her Cookie Ann.
Ann.
Who's Shelley May?
I don't know.
She's somebody. Yeah, Cookie Ann could be the chef. They could have a restaurant. That'd be great. And
No, I think that would be a great idea.
yeah.
I think cruise line is where there's a lot of opportunity, right? They have 2 island destinations now.
Yeah.
They're going to have way more ships in a year or two. And while I'm not a fan of the Wish as it was when I was on it, I'm a fan of like bigger, better, more. This idea that you can take the cruising experience and turn it into something special. But I also love traditional cruising experience where I can go on a Royal Caribbean cruise and just chill.
Okay. So
like
what
them
were you
both.
on? The Dream before you said? I think we talked about this. You were on the Dream?
I've been on the Dream once.
Yeah. Okay. So you've done.
I've been on. Have I been on 6?
Oh, okay.
I've been
done
on 5 or 6.
3.
Whichever
I've
one.
done
My last
three,
cruise
yeah.
that I was on, I was gold. It was my
Right.
first time as
Okay.
gold. So I think you do 5 on silver, and then you're gold. So maybe I've been on 6.
Okay.
But I've set foot on every Disney ship except for
Oh, wow.
the Fantasy.
Okay. And the Wish.
But I did not sail on the Wonder. I was on the Wonder because in a former job, we did an IT project
Okay.
aboard the Wonder.
So the Wish was your least favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But also, like, my favorite is the Magic, and a lot of people are like, ew. Because it's old. It's like the original. It's
Yeah.
old. And I could see where there are some things about the Magic that you're like, oh, this is kind of like better on the Dream. Like, the Dream has really cool spaces where all the bars are and stuff. The
Right.
Magic has some of that. The Magic could use like a little bit of an overhaul, but I have a certain soft spot for it because it feel like my first cruise was on the Magic, and I had at the time I was being like begged to go on a cruise, and I was like, oh, I spent 18 months of my life at sea in the Marine Corps. Like the last thing I need is like to spend another week at sea. And I really loved it, and it really changed my life because I was at a stage in my life when I was working very hard, and I really couldn't stand to be like out of touch with what was going on at work. And it made me like, this is before they had good internet. So it made me like unplug and like literally put my phone like in a drawer for a week.
Yep. That's what
And
I love about
thought it was
cruises.
so good.
love
and
unplugging.
And in that way, the Magic changed my life. Another way it changed my life, I met Lee on board the Disney Magic. So
okay.
that also
Yeah.
changed my life in that way, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I would love to go on a Fantasy. I've never been on a Fantasy, and I want to go on a Fantasy before the Treasure comes out so that for one little slice of my life, I can say I've been on every Disney cruise ship.
Okay.
And then the Treasure's going to come out like a week later, and then I'll be like, oh, no. And the Treasure costs like $1 billion to go on, so I'll never afford to go on it.
Yeah, you will.
It's tough. But I'm also an itinerary person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Magic, the last time I was on the Magic, we went to the new island, we went to Nassau.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care if I ever go to Nassau again. I have a feeling that's why they built the new island. Because now you can go to like some of the cruises, just go to both of their islands. Because I imagine that their customer base is like, can we just not go to Nassau?
Their customer base
sucks.
doesn't really care to get off at those islands.
And not in Nassau.
No.
But when you go to but the Magic and the Wonder are smaller, more agile ships. So they go to Norway, back in the fjords, and they go to Alaska, back in the these bays and stuff and all. And I think for that reason, I really love the smaller ships. Now the Dream has been in Europe this summer, right?
I don't
So
know.
maybe they're hitting cool ports.
That'd be cool. I'd love to do some of those types of cruises because now I'm getting into it. Like I did a few, and like I said, I've been on 3, all in the Dream. But yeah, I'm really into it. Like I would love to go on a longer one. They've all been 3 or 5. I'd love to try.
You got to go like a week.
Yeah,
3 especially, I hate.
3 is hard. Yeah,
Because 3 is like, okay, you go to dinner your first night, second night you go to Palo, third night's your farewell dinner, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I really got to know my servers well. Like,
Yeah.
no, I think a
5
7
was
nighter.
good. I don't know. 7, it's a long one, but I wouldn't mind trying it.
I want to do a transatlantic, like a repositioning cruise one day.
Yeah. So you fly over there and then cruise back?
So that is something I've actually looked at for next year on a different cruise line to go to like fly to Europe, kick around Europe for a week, get on a ship in Barcelona, and it comes back to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at. I know the cruise I would target. It's not a Disney cruise because I can't afford a Disney cruise that's that long. But I feel like when you get a big new ship, whether you're Disney Cruise Line or you're Royal Caribbean or you're Carnival or whoever, you get a big new ship. What do you put it on? You put it on your workman like route, right? You're just going to be churning and burning to the Bahamas and back on 3 and 4 night cruises because you can charge more money for those cruises and you want to burn less gas. And when you want to go on longer cruises, you're typically on a smaller vessel. That seems to be how the cruise line industry works for the most part, unless you're repositioning, going to Hawaii. Going through Panama Canal would be cool.
Yeah.
You've just gone to Bahamas? Let's go. Let's do it next year. We'll get a group of people. Let's go to like Europe or something.
I'm in.
And do a cruise.
Let's do it.
We'll do the podcast from the high seas.
We should.
You know how long it would take to upload an episode of this podcast from like ship Wi-Fi?
Sometimes can't get it to work from the studio. Who knows? Who knows what we'll get to work from a ship?
It's fair.
I think we could do it though, as long as we have Gertie with us.
I think you
want to
would
go
be
cruising,
fun.
Gertie?
She'll go.
Yeah.
I think you would be fun on a cruise.
Me?
Yeah, I think you'd be fun.
I'm a blast on the cruise. Of course
Yeah.
I am. I'm a blast anywhere.
Do you dance it out at the sail away party?
Do I? No, I don't dance. No. But that doesn't make me not fun. I'm not going to dance though.
You know who will dance is Lee.
Yeah.
Lee loves sail away parties and dancing. Oh, we had a wedding. We went to this wedding in Pittsburgh, and she was. I don't know how to describe this place. We were in an old mansion. Like there's this area of Pittsburgh that's all these old like steel magnates in their mansions and stuff.
Wow,
So
yeah.
we were in a mansion, and we're like at the bottom of this grand staircase in a mansion. They set up a dance floor, and it was her and her sorority sisters, and they were all getting it.
Yeah. You don't think I really dance, do you?
Yeah. I think I can see you doing the worm.
Well, I mean, I do silly dances.
Yeah.
All right. I
Oh no, they were doing the dance. They were
I
dancing
do silly
hard.
dances on News Tonight all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It was uncomfortable though. When,
I can't dance with. Can we play some music? Then I'll dance for you. But yeah.
It's uncomfortable. So I'm getting
It's weird
too personal
dancing
here.
with Eric without music.
I'm getting too personal here, but it's Lee and all her sorority sisters, right?
Yeah.
Her core group. And they're all with their husbands, and Lee's there with me, and we've been together for 6 years. And they play all the single ladies song, and she's right in my face doing the like, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
Yeah.
And they're all pointing at me and looking at me, and I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of pressure on a dance.
It is.
There's a bartender there.
So you pop the question right after that.
You can't pop the question at someone else's wedding.
It's the best place.
Miss Manners would say no. You cannot overshadow or attempt to do a big moment at someone else's wedding.
That'd be amazing, though.
To ruin someone else's wedding by
No. Do it.
No.
Okay.
No.
It was the moment.
That
You
was the
lost
moment.
it.
The most appropriate moment you can think to propose to someone is during someone else's wedding.
I mean, with the story you just told, yeah. Yeah, don't let her go off the ship without proposing. Wait, you weren't on a ship.
We're just in some
You were
random
just in some
mansion in
random
Pittsburgh,
mansion.
bro.
All right.
You ever been
So
to
take her
Perma-
up on the roof of the mansion, away from the rest of the party. There you go. That's how you do it.
the roof of the mansion?
Yes.
It's not the haunted mansion. No, what? We were in the attic. Our room was in the attic.
There you go.
It was like so hot.
How romantic is that?
Right?
It was super hot.
It was so hot. The hotel was like, here's some fans, because it's a fancy place to stay, right? And the whole mansion was just people that were there for that wedding.
Yeah.
So at night, people are opening their door, propping their doors open, and like all partying room to room, and like pushing furniture out in the hallway so they could dance in the rooms and stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, it was crazy, but it was also the perfect setup for like a murder mystery movie. Like I was waiting for someone to disappear, for someone to like come in, Daniel
bet.
Craig to come in and be
Yeah.
like, "Well, how'd he do? It appears that Mr. Morton is missing." Yeah,
you should have went missing.
that would have been
Off
fun.
the note, yeah.
I don't know.
Little murder mystery. Or is that upstaging the wedding too? To have a murder mystery.
I'm telling you, it was the setup for this because there's all this cast of characters, right? Including this new bartender who's 21 years old and didn't know anything about bartending, but he's really nice.
Oh, no.
Oh, he asked he said he was looking for a bottle of Chardonnay. I was like,
Ha!
are you looking for Cabernet or Chardonnay? He didn't know. Someone ordered a whiskey neat, and he gave it to them with like orange peel and ice in it.
And ice. Yeah.
I ordered whiskey on the rocks, and then he just gave me a
actually
neat
put
whiskey. I
real
go, well,
rocks
can I
in
get some
there.
rocks in it? He goes, well, I usually put the rocks in at the end. I was like, what's it look like? You just handed me the drink.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Like just a novice bartender who was trying his best to like
He was Googling the recipes if you asked
I don't
for
even
something.
know. I don't even know. At one
yeah.
point, someone said they wanted an espresso martini. He goes, I don't have any espresso, but I can still make you an espresso martini. And I'm like, pretty sure that's not true. Pretty sure that's not true.
By the way, I want to say don't take my advice on proposals because none of mine ever worked out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's sad.
yeah.
That's sad. It's sad that you've been sleeping here at the studio for so many months now, just single and looking.
I have Gertie as a pillow.
Everybody needs a Gertie
pillow.
for a pillow. Everybody
Good
needs a
hearty
Gertie.
pillow.
I like it. She'll never let you down.
No. Gertie, no. That's the one thing you know about life. Gertie will never let you down. That's all you need.
Neither will I, Nick. I appreciate you
Aw,
being here.
thank you, Eric.
I'll never let you down.
I appreciate that.
And when Tom comes back and we have a battle royale for who's still on the podcast, I will step aside and let you take over if you really want it.
You just don't want to do it anymore.
No. I'll do it too.
I think it'll be fun. I think the three of us are going to have a blast if we really do it.
A three-person podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I think we'd have a good time.
What do you think, Jake? Jake's like, no, I don't need 3 microphones.
No, I think we'd have a great time. And if we have to sub in and out, we will. Whatever we need to do. But
that's good. Like we never miss an episode. Someone's always here.
You know where we should record the next one from? We talked about going to Scat Cats and sitting on that little table that's outside that we never see anyone at, that little courtyard. That's where we record from.
The one table in the outdoor courtyard at Scat Cats that nobody's ever sat at.
I don't even know if you can.
Do those doors even open?
Try. They have to. How'd the table get there?
I don't know. I have a friend that lives in Tampa.
The building wasn't built around the table.
I have a friend that lives in Tampa, and they have this grand foyer in their house, a very big, beautiful home. And they have 2 doors like up above, but the doors don't go to anything. They're just like decorative.
Yeah.
Like above the entryway.
I love that.
They don't even have like the little landing where you could put like dolls on a bench or whatever an old lady would do. They have nothing.
No.
And it was really windy, and the doors were kind of going back and forth. She was like, oh, no, we didn't lock the door or something like up there. I'm like, dude, just put drywall screws through it. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, I guess we don't need it to actually be a functional door. I was like, no, there's never an instance where you're going to need to walk out of the door that's 2 stories up that's not connected to anything.
That's so good. So it was all decorative?
Yeah. Rich people do weird things.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, well. No, I'm always glad to have you. You should come back anytime.
All right, I will. I'll be back tomorrow.
You have more fans than me for sure. So.
Oh, I know.
I know.
You and you. Not you. You're a fan. That one's yours, Eric.
No, that one's not mine.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. That's my mom. It's
Oh,
my mom.
wait, that was mine too. Yeah, the one behind them is yours. They're wearing a I Love Eric hat. No, wait, that says Nick. Yep. Yeah. Nope, that was mine too. Sorry.
They spelled Eric wrong.
Yeah.
ERICK. All you saw was the ICK.
If you're listening, we just autographed whoever won that magnet.
We did. We autographed whoever won the Stage 89 magnet. She has, I know her name.
We autographed a nondescript white index card.
I don't know what else to. I don't have any cool autographs.
Can we send her 2 magnets? One that's autographed, one that's not. Do we have enough Gertie magnets?
Gertie magnets are very expensive and rare, but maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. We might be sending you 2. One autographed, one not. Because I felt bad just signing a white index card. It felt like, I should at least sign my used solo cup.
This happens, by the way.
Would you like my used solo cup? If you want my used solo cup autographed by me and Gertie will autograph it too. Just leave a comment in the chat and maybe we'll pick somebody and send
What's the comment have to say?
I want Nick's used solo cup.
Used solo cup. There we go. Your DNA is gonna be on it. You're gonna get implicated in some crime like a month after you ship that thing out.
Potentially. I'm willing to take that risk. This is just for, it will be empty when we send it to you, though. Yeah. It'll have to be. We can't send it with
I
liquid
don't know
in
how
it,
to
right?
end on that note. When I go home, I'm going to play the new college football video game.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I just got it.
You
I'm
got it
excited
too?
to play it, yeah.
We play against each other. You play on Xbox?
No, I play PlayStation.
I'm an Xbox.
We cross.
I'm too poor to have
Can we
a
cross
PlayStation.
device? I don't know.
I don't know if that's cross play. I don't know. But I did beat my first opponent 92-0.
I thought you said it was hard.
It is. But I played it on like
Super easy.
I played a crappy opponent.
Yeah. Okay.
No, my guy. I tried to play the like. What's the mode called when you like create a character and then you like level him up?
Yeah, whatever they
Road
call
to Glory.
it. Okay.
So somebody on TikTok is like, here's how to get your skills to 99. So I got my skills to 99 on Road to Glory, kind of using an exploit that's in the game, right? But you have to set it to Heisman level, which is the highest game difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I get him to I get him to 99, and then I win the second string quarterback job. Next game, you know, all the games are simulated, right? Simulating games. What do you want to do? I want to practice. I want to go to class. I want to go to class. And then it's like, oh, you've just won the second string quarterback job. Then I want a starting job. And so it simulates the game except for key moments, and it brings me in.
Yes. Yep.
But now I'm not like high above the field where I can see everything. You're at almost first person view. I threw 5 picks in the first 2 quarters.
Is that the way they do
Yes.
it?
I threw 5 picks in the first 2 quarters, and I was like, I'm out of my depth here. I'm gonna quit this game.
You're on Heisman level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, the Jayhawks are not winning this one.
So you had to play on Heisman level to get
To get the 99. I don't know if I can
99.
downgrade the difficulty now, or I don't.
You should try.
If you know, let me know. I don't know. I'll just go back to playing whatever I was playing. Diablo 4. I don't play a lot of video games. I used to only play one, which is when Diablo 4 came out.
Yeah.
And then I play 2, the Diablo 4. And
Okay.
someone tried to get me to play Sea of Thieves. I'm bad at it. It's not
I didn't
fun.
like that.
I don't like
No.
it. So
No. Although on Fortnite they just introduced Pirates of the Caribbean characters, so I'm playing as Jack Sparrow now.
okay.
They have Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones.
You should play on our WDWNT Play. You should do like a Twitch stream of you playing. Right now, it's mostly Sabrina driving a food truck around.
Wait, what? Is that a thing?
On the wdwnt.tv,
Yeah.
our like other YouTube channel, they go live and play video games on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And they had Sabrina first was playing some game where she was remodeling a hotel.
Huh.
I think part of the charm is that Sabrina, I don't think, is like a gamer.
Right.
And then she was doing something where she created a food truck.
Okay.
I don't know. It was like 3 hours long.
Weird
I didn't
games,
watch
okay.
it, but I saw that we did that.
Yeah.
So maybe you could play Jack Sparrow.
Trying to give you more
Fortnite
responsibility, Eric. Stop it.
guy. Keep pulling you back in.
Stop it.
Well, we appreciate you. I appreciate you joining us. I think Nick does.
Do I appreciate them joining
Yes,
us?
yeah.
Of course I do.
And we're going to be here usually weekly, usually on Tuesdays at 10. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us on the WDW News Today podcast.
See you real soon. I got to come up with my own
Toffee
catchphrase.
Ooh.
Hey, gooey toffee cake.
Bye-bye.